WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. Well, featured in this hour will be our contest. Your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to Von Toon Farms is coming up, but we're going to do it sometime between now and 8:30, so stick around for your chance to win. I have got a great guest standing by on the Jersey Central Newsmaker hotline. She is the mom of 5 special needs children. You thought you had a busy day, right? She also happens to be a special education attorney. She's also a poet. She's a writer. She is a resident of New Jersey, and she's got a brand new book that is out, too, with some really good information for parents. I want to welcome Greer Gurland to Jersey Central here on WCTC this morning. Hi, Greer. It's Bert Barron. How are you?
I'm doing great, Bert. It is such a thrill for me to be here with you. Good morning to you.
I don't know how you possibly pack so many things in one day. A mom, 5 special needs children, and an attorney, and finding time to be just a magnificent poet and writer. Where do you get your energy and your motivation from, Greer? It's really remarkable.
It's very funny. And, I get a lot from my kids, but can I just tell you a funny story? So I was driving my 3 middle schoolers to school today, and I was doing my usual routine, which is giving them my 3 minutes of mommy philosophy, like everything I've learned about life, trying to condense into, before they get out of the car to go into school for the day. And I'm talking to them about leading with kindness and being true to themselves and doing things even though they're afraid. And I realized, as there's no sound coming from the back seat, that one of the amazing things about having kids is that they force you to talk to yourself. And, what I mean by that is, here I am asking my kids to be true to themselves, to be authentic, to be kind to other people and to themselves. And eventually you kind of have to hear the echo, and I have to say, wait a second, am I doing that? So I have to say, in my later years, I'm getting old, I realized that what I need, what I'm all about really is connection. I know we were talking about this earlier, and connecting to other people is really a big piece of life for me, and trying to help if I can. And, I'm actually a really kind of shy person, so what I have found is that for me, writing is really a great way for me to have that conversation with the world that I so need to have.
I see how that would work for you. Sure. And the writing, speaking of the writing, you mentioned that you're a poet and you're also a writer. A book that you've written, What Every Parent Should Know About Special Education Law. And just the title of the book alone, Greer, is kind of eye-opening. When I sort of thought about, well, who would possibly need a book about special education law?
Wow.
And then I was thinking about, well, if I was a parent of a special needs child who was maybe, didn't have the educational opportunities that he or she deserved, or just maybe was excluded from some social groups or social clubs because of who he or she was. Things like that, I'm sure, are probably just the tip of the iceberg as to what special education law in Jersey is all about, right?
You are exactly right. And let me say, I never meant, this was not the book that I meant to write. This was the book that I had to write because, getting into special education law for me was kind of like a Reese's peanut butter cup. It was a happy accident. I had practiced law before my husband and I had our 5 kids. I did, corporate litigation in Manhattan. And for me, it just wasn't meaningful. And when I had our kids, I planned to stay home with them. I wasn't planning to practice law. But then when we had our kids who had learning differences, and other special needs, I realized, oh, my God, I'm so grateful that I had this law background because I can figure out what I need to know to advocate for them in the school system to get the kind of supports they need so they can thrive. And I was so lucky that I had that ability to learn what I needed to. And that just naturally led to my helping other parents and to practicing professionally as a special education attorney. But in doing so, what always moved me, what always kept me doing it was connecting to other parents. Because when you have a child with special needs or learning differences, it can be so isolating. And connecting with other parents, I realized there is so much that parents can do to advocate for their kids on their own. Most parents can't afford an attorney, or if they can once in their lifetime if there's some issue that can't get resolved. But parents have the power to be the most amazing advocates for their kids. And all they need is for another mom who's been there to sit with them at Starbucks or in the playground, on a park bench, and say, this is what you really need to know. These are really the laws that you need to know. They're not rocket science. I try to use no legalese. I'm just telling parents what you need to know, what I wish I knew years ago, in really understandable language. Because if parents just have a little bit of information about what their rights are, how to access them, what the resources are, and how to work with the school, it can be a so much and the journey can just be so much better. I mean, there's so much suffering that goes on because parents, great parents, like you and like me, don't know what could help them so much. And I just, couldn't see not sharing that with other parents. So that's why I had to speak to parents, and that just led to writing the book, because I just wanted to share it with more parents.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I kind of skip all the beans. Kind of, I got to spill my guts. Like, I just want every parent in the situation that I was in 10 years ago to know what I didn't know then, but wished I had.
Yeah. What I take away from the book, Greer, is that it's written in a very sort of down-to-earth sort of language. It's not overburdened with legalese and, a ruling of this person versus that person. This was the outcome. It's like very simply, it's like, you know what? Here, you are a parent. These are your rights. There's answers to your questions. There's resources that are in here. Here's the book. Here's everything that you need to know. And you must have this if you are a parent in New Jersey of a special needs child.
Honestly, I wish that when I left the hospital, with that bundle with the pink and blue hat, that I got a copy of it.
Yeah, exactly. Is New Jersey a pretty friendly state in terms of protecting families and children with special needs by your estimations, Greer?
Good question. New Jersey is a wonderful state. We have amazing special education laws, both federal and state, and we have amazing schools and amazing administrators who have put in place amazing programs for kids. That being said, it's a system. There's a process, and parents have to do their part. And the number one takeaway that I tell parents is you need to build a relationship with your school system and work cooperatively with them. That's number one. The hardest cases for me to get involved and help a parent are where there's a fractured relationship. But I know one of the things that makes it so hard for parents to try to do that is that they don't know what they should be asking for. They want to be reasonable, but they don't know what they're entitled to or how to go about getting it or asking for it. So I really try to tell parents, the book is written in my speaking voice. This is really what you need to know. This is what you're entitled to. This is how you go about asking for it. This is what you do if you hear an answer that's not what you wanted to hear. And by the way, just so you know, you are not alone, because here are all the screw-ups that I did, all the mistakes I made. and please, learn from them so you don't have to go through what I did.
Yeah, the book is called, again, What Every Parent Should Know About Special Education Law. And again, you can get some information on Greer or on her book at the website GreerGurland.com. And she's also on Facebook. You'll find her there too. We have a little bit of time left, Greer. Talk about your poetry. What do you wait to be inspired by something before you craft a poem?
I am inspired by everything, little things, big things. I mean, I write poetry. They're truths that we all experience. Life is crazy. Life is wonderful. It's crazy. It's complex. I just try to share how I see the world through my eyes. But my poetry is very much like the book, totally accessible. The name of the book that I have coming out is It Just So Happens Poems to Read Aloud, and Finishing Line Press is publishing it. And it's poems that just are my expression of what it's like to be here and the crazy stuff, that we all experience. And life is really complicated, and I can't explain it, but I try to kind of put it down there so that I can share how I experience the world in the hope, again, of connecting, to someone else like me out there who maybe it could help.
Excellent. Well, just a sincere and very caring person, Greer, is what I take away from meeting you today. And if you are inspired by this radio interview to write a poem, please share it with me, because then I can read it on the air. I said I inspired a poem by a very gifted writer. But again, GreerGurland.com, that's the website to go to for information about her and her writing and her books and her legal work as well. Maybe she could be of assistance to you if you're dealing with something here with regards to special education law in New Jersey. You heard her. She'd love to help you out. So, Greer, it was wonderful speaking with you, and keep up the great work you're doing here in New Jersey, all right?
Thank you, Bert.
Very nice to speak with you. Thank you again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Greer Gurland, my guest on Jersey Central. Again, GreerGurland.com is the website to find out more about her and her books and the very, very important legal work that she is doing here.